Welcome to the first episode of Evidence Arrest Podcast, where we take you deep into the world's most complex and compelling true crime stories. Today, we're unpacking one of the most high-profile cases currently unfolding in America: the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. A case that has captured massive media attention, gripped the public, and left investigators scrambling for answers. It all began on the evening of January 31st, 2026, in the quiet Catalina foothills region near Tucson, Arizona. Nancy, an elderly woman with limited mobility and a need for daily medication, had dinner with family. At approximately 9:50 p.m., she was dropped off at her home by family members, including her son-in-law. No one saw her again that night. The next morning, February 1st, family members expected Nancy to join a church service. When she didn't show up, concern began to grow. After checking on her and finding the house empty, the family called 911 around noon. But it was more than the absence of Nancy that alarmed investigators. It was what they found at the scene. Deputies from the Pima County Sheriff's Department immediately treated the residence as a crime scene. Bloodstains were found leading away from the front door, confirmed to match Nancy's DNA. Her phone, wallet, keys, and other personal items remained inside, suggesting she hadn't left voluntarily. Even more chilling surveillance footage recovered from her doorbell camera and other sources shows a masked individual outside her home on the night of her disappearance. The footage shows the person manipulating the camera before vanishing into the darkness. These factors, blood evidence, missing security footage, and Nancy's age and physical limitations, quickly shifted the investigation from a missing person case to a suspected abduction. Law enforcement described the person seen in doorbell footage as wearing a mask, gloves, and long pants, carrying a backpack, allegedly armed with something resembling a holster. The FBI and the sheriff's office released still images of this figure, urging the public to come forward. While the backpack was identified as an Ozark Trail hiker pack, investigators stressed it may have been purchased from Walmart, but is not exclusive to that store. Despite releasing these images, no suspects have been publicly named. One of the most promising pieces of evidence emerged when investigators found a glove about 2 miles from Nancy's home that matched those worn by the person in the video. However, in a major setback, DNA extracted from this glove did not match any profiles in the FBI's National CODIS database. Authorities are now exploring other forensic avenues, including genetic genealogy and other biological evidence found inside the home that has not yet been publicly detailed. Over the course of the investigation, a person of interest was detained following a traffic stop south of Tucson, but was later released without charges. A residence 2 miles from Nancy's home was searched under a warrant, but that search yielded no significant arrests or confirmed links. In recent statements, Sheriff Chris Nanos confirmed the family, including all siblings and their spouses, has been officially cleared as suspects and are considered victims in this case. Despite this, an extensive canvassing of neighbors' cameras and communications, law enforcement continues to withhold suspect names or a focused suspect list. Nearly 7 weeks into the investigation, officials admit progress has been slow. Some reports suggest law enforcement may consider scaling back resources if solid leads continue to elude them. One complicating factor is the length of forensic analysis. Mixed DNA evidence taken from the home is being processed at a private lab, which local officials say may take months or even up to a year to yield usable results. This has drawn criticism from some community members and true crime observers, who argue resources should be redirected or escalated. And frustrations have mounted in the community of volunteers who have taken searches into their own hands, at times uncovering items like backpacks and storm drains and raising new questions. With limited official updates, online communities and private investigators have floated theories, some suggesting links to organized crime or cartel involvement. Some experts, including a former FBI agent have weighed in, suggesting the suspect may have had a personal grievance rather than a random attack. Theories currently range from a targeted abduction based on knowledge of the residents, to someone observing Nancy or her routines in advance, or a random opportunistic crime, though these remain speculative and unverified. Neighbors' accounts shared online have also raised questions about how the alleged abductor gained access without triggering alarms or visible forced entry, fueling discussion about multiple participants or planned surveillance. However, authorities continue urging the public not to jump to conclusions and to rely on verified facts rather than rumor. As of the latest updates, the search has now reached its 49th day, with no confirmed contact or sightings. The Guthrie family has expanded its reward offer to up to $1 million for information leading to Nancy's recovery, including allowing anonymous tips to collect the money. The FBI is still offering its own reward for credible leads. Savannah Guthrie has publicly stated the family believes in a miracle, but also acknowledged that Nancy may already be gone, underscoring the emotional and uncertain status of the case. Authorities continue reviewing surveillance video and digital evidence, but have not named any suspects publicly. Investigators are reportedly reviewing ring camera footage of vehicles seen near her home around the time she disappeared, attempting to identify patterns or possible suspects. Some former law enforcement figures interviewed in the media have offered theories about possible motives, including an obsession with Nancy's daughter, though these remain speculative and unconfirmed by authorities. Sheriff Nanos has repeatedly said, "We're not stopping, we won't quit." And until Nancy Guthrie is found, that commitment remains at the heart of the investigation. This case is still evolving, and while answers remain just out of reach, every piece of evidence, every caller tip, and every forensic breakthrough brings us closer to understanding what truly happened to Nancy. If you or anyone listening has information that might help, contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department or the FBI tip line. Thank you for joining us on Evidence Arrest Podcast. Stay tuned for updates. And if you want in-depth follow-up episodes as this case develops, hit subscribe and turn on notifications.